Captain Lee Jiho was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming. He jumped up from his chair and ran to the control room of the space station Sol's Promise. His crew was already there, staring at the big screens with shocked faces. "What's happening?" Lee Jiho asked. "Sir, we have massive ships coming out of nowhere," said Lieutenant Kim Sujin. Her voice was shaking. "They just appeared at the edge of our space. I've never seen anything like them." Lee Jiho looked at the screen. 3 enormous ships were floating in space. They were bigger than any human ship he had ever seen. Each one could hold an entire city. But something was wrong with them. They were leaking air and sparks were flying from broken parts. "Are they attacking us?" he asked. "No, sir," said Sergeant Park Minho. "They're not moving toward us. They're just sitting there." Dr. Kim Minji, the station's science officer, was working at her computer. "Captain, I'm picking up strange signals from those ships. Looks like they're trying to talk to us." "What are they saying?" "I don't know yet. The language is completely different from anything we know. But they keep sending the same message over and over." "And Captain?" She paused and looked worried. "These ships are dying. Their power is almost gone." Lee Jiho felt his heart beating fast. This was first contact with aliens. Every human had wondered when this day would come. But he never thought it would happen like this. "Can you understand anything they're saying?" he asked Dr. Kim. "They're using math. Numbers that mean the same thing everywhere. They're showing us pictures of their ships and—" "Oh no," her face went pale. "Captain, there are millions of life forms on those ships, and many of them are dying." The main screen changed to show a clearer picture of the alien ships. Now Lee Jiho could see the damage. Huge holes in the sides, broken engines, and pieces floating away into space. "Sir, we're getting a call from Earth Command," said Kim Sujin. Admiral Park Daeho's face appeared on screen. He looked angry and worried. "Captain Lee, what's your status?" "Our sensors show unknown ships in your area." "Yes, sir. 3 large alien vessels. They appear to be damaged and in distress. Dr. Kim thinks they're trying to communicate. Do not, I repeat, do not make contact with those ships. We don't know if this is a trick. They could be planning to attack." Lee Jiho looked at the alien ships again. "Sir, with respect, these ships don't look like they could attack anyone. They're barely holding together." "That's an order, Captain. Stay away from them until we can send a military fleet." The screen went dark. Lee Jiho stood there thinking. Following orders was important. But people were dying on those ships. Dr. Kim looked up from her computer. "Captain, I've figured out more of their message. They're called the Villani. Their home planet was destroyed. These ships carry the last survivors of their entire species." "How many survivors?" "Over 2 million. But Captain, their life support systems are failing. They have maybe days before—" She didn't finish the sentence. Sergeant Park stepped forward. "Sir, what are your orders?" Lee Jiho thought about Admiral Park's words. He thought about the rules. He thought about playing it safe. Then he thought about 2 million people dying in space while he watched. "Dr. Kim, can you send a message back to them?" "I think so. Basic math and pictures. Send this message. We are humans. We want to help. Tell us what you need." His crew stared at him. Kim Sujin spoke first. "Sir, Admiral Park said not to make contact." "I know what he said. But I'm not going to watch millions of people die because we're scared." Dr. Kim worked quickly on her computer. "Message sent, Captain." They waited. The alien ships were quiet for a few minutes. Then new signals came through. "They're responding," Dr. Kim said excitedly. "They're sending pictures. It looks like children, sick children, and they're showing us their broken machines." Lee Jiho's decision became easier. "All right, everyone, listen up. We're going to help these people. Kim Sujin, prepare our shuttle for a rescue mission. Park Minho, gather all the medical supplies we have. Dr. Kim, keep working on talking to them." "Sir," said Kim Sujin carefully, "this could get us in big trouble." "Maybe, but it's the right thing to do." Over the next few hours, Dr. Kim learned more about the Villani language. The aliens sent pictures showing their planet being swallowed by an expanding star. They showed their escape ships breaking down during the long journey through space. They showed families crowded together sharing the last of their food and air. "Captain," Dr. Kim said, "they're not asking us to take them in. They're just asking for help to fix their ship so they can keep looking for a new home." This made Lee Jiho feel even more sure about his decision. These weren't conquerors. They were refugees. "Have you learned anything about what they look like?" he asked. "Yes, sir. They're very different from us. They look like they're made of crystal or colored glass. They communicate partly through changing colors. But Captain, the important thing is that they have families just like us. Parents who love their children. People who are scared and need help. Lee Jiho nodded. Get me a line to the lead Vellani ship. Dr. Kim worked her magic with the computer. Soon sounds and colors filled the control room. It was alien music and light, but somehow it felt sad and hopeful at the same time. This is Captain Lee Jiho of the human space station Soul's Promise, he said slowly. We have received your message. We want to help you. We will send people and supplies to fix your ships. The response came quickly. Even though he couldn't understand the words, Lee Jiho could hear the relief and gratitude in the alien voices. Dr. Kim translated the flashing lights and sounds. They're saying thank you over and over, and Captain, they're asking why we would help strangers. Lee Jiho thought about that question. Tell them that helping people in trouble is what makes us human. As his crew prepared for the rescue mission, Lee Jiho knew that his decision would change everything. Earth Command would be angry. There would be investigations and maybe punishment. But right now that didn't matter. What mattered was that somewhere in space, alien children would live to see another day because humans chose to help instead of hide. The first rescue shuttle launched an hour later. Lee Jiho watched it fly toward the massive Vellani ships and felt proud of his species. This was humanity's first chance to show the universe who they really were. He hoped they would not waste it. Engineer Cho Sung-yoon put on his spacesuit with shaking hands. He had fixed many broken machines before, but never on an alien ship. He was scared, but also excited. This was history happening. Remember, everyone, said Captain Lee over the radio. We're going there to help. Be respectful and careful. These people have lost everything. Cho Sung-hyun's shuttle flew toward the biggest Vellani ship. As they got closer, he could see how beautiful it was, even though it was broken. The ship looked like it was made of colored glass and metal that twisted together in patterns no human had ever imagined. Wow, whispered Han Sora, the medical officer sitting next to him. It's amazing. The shuttle docked with a soft bump. The Vellani had opened a special door for them. As the airlock opened, Cho Sung-yun stepped into an alien world. The first thing he noticed was the light. Everything glowed softly with blues and greens and purples. The walls looked like the inside of a crystal cave, but the beautiful ship was clearly in trouble. Sparks fell from broken ceiling panels and the air felt cold. Then he saw his first Vellani. The alien was tall and thin, made of what looked like living crystal. Light moved through its body in slow patterns. When it saw the humans, the patterns changed to brighter colors. Dr. Kim Minji had given them basic lessons in Vellani communication. Bright colors meant happiness or gratitude. Dark colors meant sadness or fear. Hello, Cho Sung-yoon said slowly. We are here to help. The Vellani's body flashed bright yellow and blue. Through their translation device, they heard a voice like wind chimes. Thank you, humans. I am Flow of Starlight. I will show you our problems. Flow of Starlight led them through the ship. What they saw made Cho Sung-hyun's heart break. Hundreds of Vellani families were crowded into spaces that should have held much fewer people. Many of the crystal beings were dim and gray, which meant they were sick. In one room, small Vellani children huddled around a heating unit that was barely working. Their parents wrapped them in thin blankets, but the children's light was getting weaker. How long have you been traveling? Han Sora asked. Many cycles. Our world died slowly, but we had time to build these ships. Not time to build them well. Flow of Starlight's colors turned dark blue. We saved who we could, but the ships are failing. Cho Sung-yun looked at the broken machines around them. Some problems he recognized. Others were completely alien. But broken was broken, no matter who built it. We can fix some of this, he said. Show me your power systems first. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Yoon Taekwon was in an emergency meeting. The big screen showed angry faces of generals and admirals. This is madness, shouted General Nam Ki-young. We know nothing about these aliens. They could be lying about everything. This could be an invasion disguised as a rescue mission. The reports from Captain Lee suggest otherwise, said Dr. Oh Ji-woo, the ethics advisor. These beings are clearly refugees in genuine distress. Even if they are refugees, said Admiral Park Dae-ho, we're talking about millions of aliens with technology far ahead of ours. If we let them stay, they could take over without firing a shot. President Yoon looked tired. This was the biggest decision any human leader had ever faced. What does the public think? That's the strange part, said his assistant. The news footage from the space station is spreading everywhere. People are watching humans help alien children. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. On the main screen, they could see live video from inside the Volani ship. Hansora was working with a Volani healer to treat sick children. The Volani healer looked like a walking piece of blue crystal, but their hands were gentle as they cared for the young ones. "Look at that," Dr. Ojiwu said softly. "Different species, but caring for children is the same everywhere." General Nam was not convinced. "Pretty pictures don't change the facts. We should capture their technology while we can. Study their weapons." "What weapons?" asked Dr. Ojiwu. "Have you seen any weapons on those ships?" "They don't need weapons if their basic technology is centuries ahead of ours." Back on the Volani ship, Cho Sung-yun was learning amazing things. The Volani didn't think about machines the way humans did. Where humans built parts that moved and broke, the Volani grew their technology like crystals. Their machines lived and healed themselves, but they could still break if damaged too badly. "Your ship is not just broken," he explained to Flow of Starlight. "It's hurt? Like a wounded animal?" "Yes," the Volani replied, its colors turning sad. "We pushed them too hard, escaping our dying world. Now they cannot heal fast enough, but I think we can help. Human machines are simple, but they're tough. We can make temporary fixes while your ship heals itself." Working together turned out to be easier than anyone expected. Humans were good at quick repairs and problem solving. The Volani understood their ships completely and could guide the humans to the right places. In the medical area, Hansora made an important discovery. "Dr. Kim," she called over the radio, "you need to hear this. The Volani children are sick because their bodies need special minerals. Their ship can't make these minerals anymore. Can we help with that?" "Actually, yes. The minerals are found in common asteroids. We just need to process them the right way." Dr. Kim Minji was translating this conversation for Flow of Starlight. The alien's body flashed bright colors. "They're saying we can save their children?" Flow of Starlight asked. "We think so," Hansora replied. "It will take time, but yes." Flow of Starlight did something unexpected. The tall crystal being knelt down to Hansora's level, which seemed to be a sign of deep respect among their people. "Why do you help us?" Flow of Starlight asked. "We have nothing to give you." Hansora thought about this. "You don't need to give us anything. You needed help and we could help. That's enough." The Volani's light patterns changed to colors they had never seen before. Dr. Kim worked to translate it. I think it means they're amazed," she said. "They've never met anyone who helped without wanting something back." As the hours passed, more human ships arrived with supplies. But they also brought news from Earth. "Captain Lee," Admiral Park's voice crackled over the radio. "You are ordered to return to base immediately. A military fleet is coming to secure the alien vessels." Captain Lee's response was calm but firm. "Sir, we're in the middle of life-saving operations. I cannot abandon these people." "This is not a request, Captain. It's an order." Before Captain Lee could answer, something unexpected happened. Dr. Ojiwu's voice came over a different channel. "This is Dr. Ojiwu speaking for the Global Ethics Council. Captain Lee, the whole world is watching what you're doing. You have more support than you know." It was true. On Earth, millions of people were watching the live feeds from the Volani ships. They saw human engineers working alongside crystal beings to save alien children. They saw Hansora learning Volani medicine while teaching human techniques. Most importantly, they saw that fear could be replaced with kindness. A new voice joined the conversation. It was President Yoon himself. "Captain Lee, this is your president. Continue your mission. Help those people. The military fleet will provide support, not interference." In the background, they could hear General Nam arguing, but President Yoon had made his decision. On the Volani ship, Cho Sung-yun finally got the main power system working again. Lights came on throughout the ship. Heating units started working. The air became warm and fresh. Young Volani children began to glow brighter as their health improved. Their parents flashed grateful colors that needed no translation. "We did it," Cho Sung-hyun said to his team. "We actually did it." But Flow of Starlight approached him with serious colors. "Human friend, we must tell you something important. Others will come looking for us, bad ones. They destroyed our world and follow us across space. If they find us here, they will hurt you too." Hansora heard this and felt cold despite the now warm air. "Who's coming?" "The Korthek. They take worlds and make slaves of people. They will want us back. And they will not care about your kindness. The humans looked at each other. They had just saved the Villani. Now they learned that helping might bring terrible danger to Earth. But as Cho Sung-hyun watched Villani children playing again, their bodies bright with health, he knew the decision was already made. They would not abandon their new friends no matter what came next. The alarm that woke Admiral John Minho was different from any he had heard before. This wasn't a drill or a system malfunction. This was the sound that meant Earth's worst fears were coming true. "Report," he ordered, as he rushed into the command center. "Sir, long-range sensors detect a large fleet approaching our space. Estimated arrival time 36 hours. The ships match Villani descriptions of Korthek vessels." Admiral Jian looked at the display. 67 warships, each larger than humanity's biggest battlecruiser. Earth's entire defense fleet had only 12 ships, and most of those were exploration vessels with light weapons. "How many people are we talking about defending?" he asked. 2.3 million Villani refugees, plus about 50,000 humans in the settlement areas. Admiral John closed his eyes. The math was simple and terrible. Humanity couldn't win this fight. On Earth, President Yoon Taekwon was awakened by the same news. Within an hour, he was in an emergency session with the Global Assembly. The room was full of frightened, angry voices. "We have to surrender the Villani," Representative Kim Chan-ho said. "It's the only logical choice. We can't sacrifice the entire human race for aliens we just met. Those aliens are under our protection," Representative Park Yoon-ji replied hotly. "We gave our word. If we abandon them now, what does that say about who we are?" "It says we're smart enough to survive," Kim Chan-ho shot back. The argument went on for hours. Some representatives wanted to fight. Others wanted to negotiate. Many wanted to simply hand over the Villani and hope the Korthek would leave Earth alone. Representative Lee Kyung-ho stood up slowly. He was an old man who had served in the assembly for 20 years. When he spoke, people listened. "I've been thinking about my granddaughter," he said quietly. "She's 7 years old. Last week she drew a picture of herself playing with a Villani child. She asked me why the crystal people had to run away from their home. I told her that bad people destroyed their world. She asked me what we were going to do about it. I said we were going to help them find a new home. Now you want me to go home and tell her that we lied. That when the bad people came for our friends, we handed them over to save ourselves. How do I explain that to a 7-year-old? The room was quiet. "More importantly," Lee Kyung-ho continued, "what kind of people would we be if we did that? What kind of galaxy would we be creating?" Meanwhile, in the Villani settlement on Luna Moon Base, Crystal Song of Morning gathered her people. She was the eldest Villani, and her crystal body was dim with age and sadness. "My children," she said, her words translated for the humans who had become part of their community. "The Korthek have found us. We cannot ask our human friends to die for us. We must surrender ourselves and hope they will spare Earth." Young Villani and humans both started crying. In the months since the refugees arrived, deep friendships had formed. Human children had learned to read Villani light language. Villani youngsters had learned to laugh at human jokes. "No," said 12-year-old Yu Hyejin, a human girl who had become best friends with a young Villani named Bright Dancing Flame. "You can't go. This is your home now." "Child," Crystal Song of Morning replied gently, "we are grateful for your kindness, but we will not let you die for us." Dr. Kim Min-ji, who had been working with the Villani since the beginning, stood up. "With respect, Elder, that's not your choice to make. We invited you here. We promised to protect you. Humans don't break promises." In Earth's orbital shipyard, something amazing was happening. Captain Kwon Sang-hoon was supposed to be delivering supplies to the Mars colonies. Instead, he was loading his cargo ship with weapons. "Sir," his second officer said nervously, "this is a civilian vessel. We're not military." "Today we are," Kwon Sang-hoon replied. "Those Korthek want our friends? They'll have to go through us first." His ship wasn't alone. Cargo haulers, mining vessels, even tourist shuttles were being fitted with whatever weapons could be found. Volunteer crews from across the solar system were arriving to help. It was the largest volunteer fleet in human history. Most of the ships were completely unsuited for combat. Their crews were miners, traders, scientists, and teachers. But they were coming anyway. Scientists Dr. Yoo Ji-hyun and Dr. An Seo-jin were working frantically in their laboratory. The Villani had shared their technology freely, but understanding it was different from being able to use it. "We need more time," Dr. Yoo said in frustration. The Volani crystal technology could make our ships much stronger, but we can't figure out how to integrate it properly. Then we ask them to help us, Dr. An replied. They know we're facing this threat because of them. Maybe they'll work with us. When they approached the Volani engineers, the response was immediate and enthusiastic. The crystal beings had been feeling guilty about bringing danger to their human friends. Now they could help fight back. Human adaptability combined with Volani crystal technology created something neither species could have built alone: shields that could protect entire fleets, weapons that could punch through the thickest armor, communication systems that worked instantly across vast distances. But even with improved technology, humanity was still vastly outnumbered. As the ConquestHFY fleet drew closer, another unexpected thing happened. Ships from other species began arriving in human space. Ambassador Kelthara came back with a small Threlic fleet. "We are here to observe," she announced, "and to ensure that whatever happens here is witnessed by the galaxy." The Assembler Republic sent 3 ships. The Free Traders Coalition dispatched a diplomatic vessel. Even the mysterious Deep Void Collective sent a single, strange ship that seemed to be made of dark metal and shadows. They weren't coming to fight. They were coming to watch. "Why are they here?" President Yoon asked his advisors. "I think," said Dr. Ojiwu, "they want to see if we really mean what we said about protecting our friends. This isn't just about the Volani anymore. This is about what kind of galaxy we're all going to live in." The ConquestHFY fleet arrived exactly when predicted. War Chief Gorthak was a massive creature covered in natural armor and equipped with weapons that could tear apart a building. His ship was the size of a small city and bristled with enough firepower to destroy a planet. He opened communications with Earth immediately. "Humans," his voice boomed through the speakers, "you are harboring stolen property. The Volani belong to the ConquestHFY Empire. Surrender them immediately and we will not destroy your pathetic worlds." President Yoon had prepared his response carefully. The whole world was watching. The whole galaxy was listening. "War Chief Gorthak, I am President Yoon Taekwon of Earth. The Volani are not property. They are refugees under human protection. If you want them, you'll have to go through us." Gorthak laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your largest ship could fit inside my engine room, human. You have no chance." "Maybe not," President Yoon replied, "but we're going to try anyway." What happened next surprised everyone, including the humans. The volunteer fleet moved to defensive positions around the Volani settlements. Civilian ships stood alongside military vessels. Miners and teachers and scientists prepared to fight one of the most feared military forces in the galaxy, but they weren't alone. Commander Hong Mikyung was leading the first defensive line when her communications officer reported something impossible. "Ma'am, we're receiving messages of support from all over the galaxy. Hundreds of species are watching this. Many are saying they hope we win." "That's nice," Hong Mikyung replied, "but hope doesn't stop missiles." "No, ma'am, but this might help." On her screen appeared a message from the Assembler Republic. "Human fleet, you have inspired our people. We cannot intervene directly, but we are transmitting tactical data about ConquestHFY ship weaknesses." Similar messages came from a dozen other species. The Threlic sent shield harmonics. The Free Traders provided intelligence about ConquestHFY battle tactics. Even species that usually stayed neutral were quietly offering assistance. The galaxy had been watching humanity's treatment of the Volani for months. Now they were choosing sides. War Chief Gorthak noticed the observer ships but dismissed them. "Let them watch," he told his officers. "Let them see what happens to those who defy the ConquestHFY Empire." In the Volani settlement, Crystal Song of Morning watched the human ships positioning themselves between her people and the approaching ConquestHFY fleet. Her old crystal body flickered with colors of amazement and fear. "They really mean it," she whispered to Dr. Kim Minji. "They're really going to fight for us." "Did you think we wouldn't?" Dr. Kim asked. "We hoped. But hoping and believing are different things. Even our own people might not have done what you are doing." As the two fleets faced each other across the dark of space, one thing was clear. This battle would decide more than the fate of the Volani refugees. It would decide what kind of galaxy everyone was going to live in. A galaxy where might made right, or a galaxy where protecting the innocent was worth any sacrifice. The ConquestHFY were about to learn that humanity had chosen their side long ago. The battle began at dawn, Earth time. War Chief Gorthak had grown tired of talking and ordered his fleet to attack. 67 massive ConquestHFY warships moved forward like a metal storm cloud, their weapons charging with deadly light. Commander Hong Mik-young watched them approach from the bridge of her destroyer Soul's Guardian. Her small fleet of human ships looked like toys compared to the ConquestHFY vessels, but they didn't retreat. "All ships, this is Commander Hong," she broadcast to the volunteer fleet. "Remember, we're not trying to win. We're buying time for the evacuations and showing the galaxy who we are. Make every shot count." The first exchange of fire lit up space like a deadly fireworks show. ConquestHFY plasma beams struck human shields and armor. Many ships were damaged, but they held together better than expected. Engineer So Yunho, working alongside Vellani technician Harmony of Metals, had managed to combine human and Vellani technology in ways nobody thought possible. Human ships now had crystal-based shields that could absorb and redirect energy attacks. "It's working," So Yunho shouted over the noise of battle. "The crystal matrix is holding." But the ConquestHFY had overwhelming numbers. For every shot the humans landed, 10 came back at them. Ships began to explode. Good people died in the cold darkness of space. War Chief ConquestHFY smiled inside his armor. This was going exactly as expected. The humans were brave but foolish. In another hour, their fleet would be destroyed and he could collect his property. Then something happened that he didn't expect. Captain Lim Wonshik, commanding the mining vessel Lucky Strike, saw a ConquestHFY ship break formation and drift toward the observer vessels. The ship was clearly damaged, venting atmosphere and spinning out of control. "Captain," his navigator said, "that ConquestHFY ship is going to crash into the Threlic observer. Should we help them?" Captain Lim didn't hesitate. "Change course. Full speed to intercept." "Sir, that's a ConquestHFY ship. They're trying to kill us. Right now, they're people in trouble." Lucky Strike raced across the battlefield, dodging weapons fire from both sides. Captain Lim managed to get close enough to the damaged ConquestHFY vessel to extend his ship's emergency force field around it, stopping its deadly spin. On the ConquestHFY ship, Sub-Commander Thekvar couldn't believe what was happening. His ship had been hit by his own side's weapons during the battle. His crew was dying, and his ship was about to crash into neutral vessels which would bring more enemies into the fight. Then a human ship appeared and saved them. "Why?" he asked over the communication system. "Why did you save us?" Captain Lim's answer was simple. "Because you needed help." This small act of mercy had big consequences. Sub-Commander Thekvar was War Chief ConquestHFY's nephew, being trained for command. He had been taught that other species were weak, that mercy was foolishness, that only strength mattered. But a human had just risked his life to save ConquestHFY crew members in the middle of battle. The observer ships had recorded everything. Across the galaxy, millions of beings watched a human rescue his enemies because it was the right thing to do. The battle raged on, but something had changed. Some of the younger ConquestHFY warriors began to question what they were doing. Fighting military ships was one thing, but watching humans sacrifice themselves to protect refugees made them uncomfortable. On the ConquestHFY flagship, War Chief ConquestHFY was getting angry. The human fleet should have been destroyed by now. Instead, they kept fighting with tactics he had never seen before. Human ships would sacrifice themselves to protect damaged Vellani vessels. Civilian cargo haulers would ram ConquestHFY warships to save human destroyers. Scientists and teachers and miners fought like veteran soldiers, not for conquest or glory, but to protect their friends. "They fight like they have nothing to lose," his tactical officer observed. "No," Sub-Commander Thekvar said quietly from his rescue pod. "They fight like they have everything to gain." As the battle continued, more observer ships arrived. The fight between humans and ConquestHFY was being watched by half the galaxy. News networks translated the battle commentary into hundreds of languages. Children on dozens of worlds watched humans die to protect alien refugees. The tide began to turn when Dr. Yu Ji-hyun made a breakthrough. Working with Vellani engineers on the surface of Luna Base, she finally cracked the secret of Vellani crystal technology. "I've got it," she shouted into her communicator. "All ships prepare for shield matrix integration." The remaining human ships suddenly blazed with new light. Vellani crystal technology spread across their hulls like living armor. Ships that had been barely holding together became nearly indestructible. More importantly, the crystals connected all the human ships into a single network. They could share shields, coordinate attacks, and support each other instantly. For the first time in the battle, War Chief ConquestHFY looked worried. But the real turning point came when Admiral John Minho received an unexpected message. Human fleet. This is Captain Veltara of the Assembler Republic ship Harmony's Edge. We cannot stand by any longer. You have shown us what courage looks like. We are joining the fight. One by one, the observer ships declared themselves. The Threllic Consortium vessels powered up their weapons. The Free Traders Coalition activated their defensive systems. Ships from a dozen species moved to support the human fleet. This is against all protocols, Ambassador Kelthara said to her crew. We are supposed to be neutral observers. Yes, Ambassador, her captain replied. But sometimes neutrality is just another word for cowardice. War Chief Gorthak found himself facing not just the human fleet, but ships from across the galaxy. Species that had never worked together were fighting side by side to protect the Volani refugees. Fall back, he ordered his fleet. This is not worth a galactic war. But Sub-Commander Thekvar had a different idea. The young Korthek officer opened a communication channel to his uncle's ship. War Chief, request permission to speak privately. In the privacy of the flagship's command chamber, Thekvar faced his uncle. The humans saved my life, he said. My crew's life. They didn't have to do that. They are weak, Gorthak growled. That's why they helped you. No, Uncle, I think they're strong in a way we never learned to be. Look around us. Half the galaxy is fighting to protect refugees. When was the last time anyone fought to protect us? War Chief Gorthak had no answer for that. The battle ended not with a great explosion, but with a simple transmission. Sub-Commander Thekvar, using his authority as the War Chief's heir, broadcast a message to all ships. This is Sub-Commander Thekvar of the Korthek fleet. I call for immediate ceasefire. The humans have shown us something important today. Perhaps it's time we learned what it means to be protectors instead of conquerors. Many of the Korthek ships stopped firing immediately. The younger warriors had been influenced by what they witnessed. They were tired of being feared and hated throughout the galaxy. War Chief Gorthak was furious, but he was also outnumbered. Half his own fleet had stopped following his orders. The observer ships were now allied with the humans, and the galaxy was watching everything. This isn't over, he transmitted to the human fleet. The Korthek Empire will not forget this. Yes, Commander Hong Mikyung replied, we're counting on that. Next time you think about attacking refugees, remember what happened here. Remember that the galaxy stands together now. As the Korthek fleet withdrew, something amazing happened. Ships from dozens of species began working together to help the wounded from both sides. Threllic medical ships treated injured humans. Human engineers helped repair damaged assembler vessels. Even wounded Korthek warriors were given medical care. On the surface of Luna Base, Crystal Song of Mourning watched the aftermath of the battle with wonder. Dr. Kim Minji sat beside her, both of them exhausted but alive. Your people fought for us, the old Volani said. They died for us, why? Because you're our friends, Dr. Kim replied. And that's what friends do. But we brought you nothing but trouble, Dr. Kim smiled. You brought us something much more valuable. You brought us the chance to show the galaxy who we really are. As rescue ships worked through the debris field, collecting survivors and honoring the dead, the galaxy began to change. Species that had been enemies for generations started talking to each other. Trade routes opened between former rivals. The concept of providing sanctuary to refugees spread from system to system. The Volani settlement on Luna Base became a symbol of hope. Aliens from dozens of species came to see the place where humans chose kindness over conquest. Many decided to stay and help build something new. Sub-Commander Thekvar requested political asylum with the human government. I want to learn, he explained. I want to understand how you made us all better just by being yourselves. His request was granted immediately. War Chief Gorthak returned to the Korthek homeworlds in disgrace. But the seeds of change had been planted in his fleet. Young Korthek warriors began to question the old ways. Some deserted to join the growing alliance of species working together. The empire that had ruled through fear for centuries was beginning to crumble from within. As Captain Lee, Jiho stood on the observation deck of Sol's Promise, watching ships from across the galaxy working together to help the Volani build permanent homes. He thought about that first day when the refugee ships appeared. One simple decision to help instead of hide had changed everything. News traveled fast in space. Within days, every spacefaring species in the galaxy had heard about the humans and their strange response to the Volani refugees. Most aliens couldn't believe what they were hearing. Ambassador Kelthera of the Threlic Consortium received the report while eating breakfast on her trade ship. The Threlic looked like giant insects with shiny green shells and too many eyes. They were smart and rich, but they thought of other species as either customers or competitors. "Let me understand this correctly," Kelthera said to her assistant. "The humans found refugee ships with advanced technology, and instead of stealing the technology, they helped?" "Yes, Ambassador. They sent supplies and engineers to repair the alien ships. They asked for nothing in return." Kelthera clicked her mandibles in confusion. This made no sense. When the Threlic found refugees, they offered to sell them food and shelter. Good business. When they found new technology, they figured out how to copy it and sell it. Also good business, but helping for free? This was either very stupid or very clever. "Prepare my ship," she ordered. "I want to see these humans for myself." Meanwhile, on Earth, something beautiful was happening. The live video feeds from the Volani ships had captured people's hearts all over the world. In Seoul, a group of school children led by teacher Bae Hyun-jin started making care packages for Volani families. They drew pictures showing human and Volani children playing together. They made simple toys and included notes saying, "Welcome to our galaxy." "Why are we doing this?" asked 8-year-old Park Do-hyun. "Because they're far from home and scared," Bae Hyun-jin explained. "Remember how you felt on your first day at a new school? Now imagine if that school was on a different planet." The children nodded and worked harder on their gifts. Similar scenes played out across Earth. Families recorded welcome messages in dozens of languages. Scientists volunteered to help translate Volani knowledge. Engineers designed simple machines that could help repair the refugee ships. Commander Bae Jin-soo was leading the second wave of human assistance when he made a decision that shocked everyone, including himself. His ship carried Earth's most advanced power core, meant for humanity's new space station. But when he saw that one of the Volani ships was about to lose life support completely, he didn't hesitate. "Prepare to transfer our main power core to the Volani ship," he ordered. "Sir," said his engineer, "that will leave us with barely enough power to get home. Then we'll drift home if we have to. Those people need it more than we do." The Volani ship Crystal Harmony was dying. Its ancient power system had finally given up, and 3,000 Volani were facing slow death in the cold of space. When Bae Jin-soo's power core connected to their ship, the lights came back on and warmth returned. The Volani captain, whose name translated to "Deep Song of Gratitude," did something unprecedented. She opened her ship's memory banks to the humans, sharing their most precious possession: knowledge. Dr. Ryu Min-seok, a planetary engineer, was the first human to see what the Volani really knew. They weren't just refugees with broken ships. They were master terraformers who could turn dead rocks into garden worlds. "Captain Lee," he called excitedly from the Volani ship, "you need to see this. They have the technology to make any planet livable. They could turn Mars into a paradise in 50 years. This was the kind of technology that most species would kill for. The power to create worlds was worth more than all the money in the galaxy. But the Volani were freely sharing it." "Why are you showing us this?" Dr. Ryu asked Deep Song of Gratitude. "You saved our children without asking for payment," the Volani captain replied, her crystal body glowing warm gold. "This is how we say thank you." When Ambassador Kelthera arrived in human space, she expected to find the humans dissecting Volani technology in secret laboratories. Instead, she found human and Volani engineers working together in the open, sharing ideas and solving problems as partners. "This is very strange," she muttered to her assistant. She watched human children's gifts being delivered to Volani families. She saw Volani healers teaching human doctors about crystal-based medicine. She observed joint meetings where humans and Volani planned temporary settlements on empty moons. Most shocking of all, she saw humans offering to share their own worlds. Linguist Shinara had become quite good at speaking with the Volani. She was helping organize the settlement project when she noticed the Threlic ship watching from a distance. "Captain Lee," she reported, "we have visitors. Threlic Consortium ship. They're just watching us." "Invite them over," Captain Lee said. "Maybe they want to help too." This was not what Ambassador Kelthera expected. Most species were suspicious of the Threlic. Humans were inviting them to come closer. When Kelthera's shuttle docked with Soul's Promise, she was greeted by Captain Lee personally. This was also strange. Usually only low-ranking officers dealt with trade representatives. "Welcome, Ambassador," Captain Lee said. "Would you like to see what we're doing here?" Yes, I'm very curious about your methods." Captain Lee gave her a full tour. He showed her the human engineers working alongside Villani technicians. He explained how they were planning to establish temporary colonies where the Villani could live while they searched for a permanent new home. "And what do you ask in return for all this?" Kelthara asked. "Nothing. They're our guests." "Guests?" Kelthara's translator struggled with the concept. "You mean temporary trade partners?" "No, I mean guests. People we invited to stay because they needed help." Kelthara was quiet for a long time. In her long life, she had seen thousands of first contact situations. There were always angles, always deals, always someone trying to get the better deal. But these humans seemed genuinely happy just to help. "May I ask you something personal, Captain Lee?" "Of course. Are all humans like this?" Captain Lee thought about it. "We're not perfect. We make mistakes. We sometimes fight among ourselves. But when someone needs help, yes, most humans will try to help if they can." That evening, Kelthara sent a report back to the Threlic Consortium that caused quite a stir. "The humans are not what we expected. They have found refugees with valuable technology, and instead of exploiting them, they are caring for them. I believe we are witnessing the emergence of something new in the galaxy. I recommend we observe carefully and consider changing our own policies regarding refugees and first contact situations." Word of Kelthara's report spread quickly through the galaxy's communication networks. Other species began to take notice. The Assembler Republic sent a research ship. The Free Traders Coalition dispatched observers. Even the mysterious Deep Void Collective started paying attention. But it was Dr. O. Jiwoo's broadcast from Earth that really changed things. The ethics advisor had been watching the galactic reaction to humanity's actions, and she had something important to say. "To our new neighbors in the galaxy," she began, "we know you're watching us. You're trying to figure out if we're weak or strong, stupid or clever. You're wondering if kindness is a trick or a weakness. Let me tell you what we've learned. The Villani came to us broken and desperate. We could have taken advantage of them. We could have stolen their technology or enslaved them or ignored them completely. Instead, we chose to help. And you know what happened? We became stronger. We learned amazing new technologies, but more importantly, we gained friends who would do anything for us. We discovered that the universe is full of people worth knowing, worth helping, worth saving. This is who we are. This is who we choose to be. We hope you'll join us." The broadcast was translated into hundreds of languages and sent across space. It reached trading posts and military stations and diplomatic centers throughout the galaxy. Most importantly, it reached the Korthek far away in the dark regions of space. The Korthek war fleet was still hunting for the escaped Villani. The Korthek were everything the humans were not. They conquered worlds, enslaved populations, and took everything they wanted by force. War Chief Gorthak received the human broadcast and laughed with his officers. "These humans think kindness makes them strong," he growled. "We will show them what real strength looks like. Ready the fleet. It's time to collect our property and teach these soft-hearted fools a lesson." Back in human space, the integration continued. Villani children played with human children in the settlement domes. Villani artists created beautiful crystal sculptures for human homes. Human musicians learned to play songs that made Villani light patterns dance. But in quiet moments, the Villani elders shared their fears with human leaders. "The Korthek will come." Deep song of gratitude told Captain Lee. "They never stop hunting. When they find us here, they will demand we return to slavery, and they will hurt you for protecting us." "Let them come," Captain Lee replied. "We've made our choice. You're under human protection now." Deep Song of Gratitude's crystal body pulsed with colors that had no human translation. They meant something like amazement mixed with terror mixed with hope. The galaxy was watching to see if these strange humans really meant what they said about protecting their friends. They were about to find out.